sakes, JCs, we have gathered here once again to celebrate the brotherhood of man / womankind, human personality, free enterprise, several others, but most of all, service to humanity, which, this is just my opinion, is the best work of life. I think you'll agree. I probably should have actually yelled that, but I didn't have anybody's pinky to hold. So anyway, I'm honored to be with you today. And on this week's episode, a 2 seed beats a 15 seed. And we're going to talk a little bit about the big chapter video contest. Because, see, here's the thing, people. We want to put the spotlight on you. This is not all just about me. I'm just a talking head.
That talks too much.
That's a fair statement, but how about we just kick this thing off with a chapter spotlight? And did you know that there's actually a Liverpool here in America? Well, there is, right smack dab in the middle of New York State, and their JC's chapter, though on the small side, does some really big things. Over a 40-plus year history of the chapter, it has had successful impact on the community with projects like haunted houses, music festivals, high school football all-star games. Modern projects include Relay for Life, an annual blood drive, and working relationships with local homeless shelters and women's shelters. The chapter is also a go-to in the state for state conventions and is home to both the 2012 and 2013 New York State JC's presidents. It's a breeding ground for leadership. Now, currently, one of the chapter's more popular and award-winning, might I add, community development projects is the Erie Canal Spring Fall Cleanup. Occurring this year on April 20th, the Liverpool JCs help out in a huge effort to make sure a local park and historic site is ready to be used throughout the year. The Erie Canal is kind of a big deal for the whole country. The park relies mostly on donations and volunteer employees, and its staff is just incredibly appreciative of the amazing amount of work that the chapter has done in the past years. Way to go, Liverpool JCs. Okay, so this you might recognize, my friend and yours, President Chrystal Ramsay Dyess. And we wanted to quickly discuss how incredibly hard she works when visiting local chapters, and she does this all the time. In fact, she and World President Kiara Milani visited my home chapter last week, so I can tell you firsthand. But let's take our recent trip to the Billings, Montana chapter. I want to go to Billings, Montana. I'm stuck here in the studio. Anyway, here's her schedule right here over my left shoulder. Pretty packed, right? Yeah, that's just day one. Here's day two. The Billings chapter, they ought to really be commended for putting together so many great events during her stay, including trainings, competitions, business meetings, radio interview, great meals, and more. Thank you, President Chrystal, for your tireless effort to spread positive change across this great country. And speaking of positivity, I won't call it positive change because, like this guy said, we've been here for years. 5 years to be exact. The USJCs has been so heavily involved with the American Cancer Society and Relay for Life. Now, I also have to give a shout out to my good buddy, our JC liaison to the American Cancer Society, Miss Angie Taylor. If you don't already, make sure you follow her page on Facebook, JC's That Relay. I'll put the link below, as well as links to the JC page on the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life webpage. And speaking of, with us today to discuss the ACS JC partnership, our American Cancer Society liaison to the JCs, my friend Miss Shannon Lecoq. Shannon, thanks so much for being here today on JCTV.
Thank you for having us.
Now, Shannon, tell us a little bit about your role as the liaison between the American Cancer Society and organizations like the JCs.
I have actually had the pleasure of working for the American Cancer Society for over 15 years, and I actually work for the High Plains Division, which is 6 states, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, and also Hawaii and Guam. And I work with the volunteers and the staff at the division level to ensure that our local volunteers and staff out in the communities have all the training, resources, and marketing and communication needs that they need to go out and to implement our fundraising events, including Relay for Life.
Now, Shannon, if there's one thing that the ACS really knows how to do, it's raise funds through fun, which I think makes the JC partnership such a great fit. Can you talk a little bit more about some of the interesting things that JC chapters have done for the ACS and Relay for Life?
Well, you know, the part of our mission is that we are community-based, the American Cancer Society is, and we rely on having volunteers to deliver our mission, and that's where the JCs come in as leaders in their community to help us deliver that mission. And there are many, many different opportunities for for JCs to get involved in the American Cancer Society activities. If JCs really, want to help people get well, there are patient services programs in communities that those JCs can volunteer for. If you are interested in helping people fight back, there's opportunities such as Relay for Life to participate in. If you want to help put faces to the word cancer for lawmakers, JCs can get involved in our advocacy efforts. Really, it's just endless the different opportunities that we have available.
Shannon, Lecoq, thank you so much for all that you do, the great work that you and the American Cancer Society do for the world, for your help rallying JC partnerships, and for being a guest today on JCTV.
Thank you for having us.
So I think you'll agree that the best commercial in this year's Super Bowl, or bowl that is super, we're not supposed to say super, was the commercial about the American farmer with Paul Harvey. Sent chills up my spine. The U.S. Junior Chamber has long since recognized the critical role of the ag industry in our country, and that's why they founded the Outstanding Young Farmer decades ago. Recently, Nationals did what all chapters really should do, spin off projects to new owners so that the chapter can engage in fresh, positive change. Well, Nationals transferred ownership to the Outstanding Young Farmer of America fraternity. Now today, the program still goes on strong with constant communication with the USJCs. Now, states interested in starting an OYF program of their own should contact Executive Director Joe-El Harper, Joe-El I call him. His email address is below. Email him anytime you need some. I like to email him photos of my breakfast every morning just so he can know that I'm nourished enough to bring you this week's episode of JCTV. That's enough for this segment. Let's go over here. So once again, that is just about enough out of me for this week. But before I go, I do want to report that the chapter video contest did get a green light. I called Joe-El earlier today, actually, to talk about the grand prize. My suggestion was $500,000, but he said we should probably talk about the details a little more. But go ahead, start brainstorming your chapter's video. We'll give those details later. This one is going to be all about brotherhood / sisterhood of man / woman. We want them just to be fun, crazy, enough fun to go viral. But let's keep them clean, though. Until next time, let's all get out there and make the world a better place. We'll see you next time.